right. From what you've seen so far, how do you think everyone's kind of coming back after the bye week?
You know, I really like where we're at right now. I think we had a productive week last week, but we at the same time we're able to mentally and physically give some guys some downtime and try to get a little healthier, refreshed, and I really like the way we attacked practice last night and what we were able to get accomplished. And we know there's a huge test ahead, and a lot of great things happening this weekend with homecoming and everything. So I think they're embracing the opportunity, but know it's a big challenge ahead.
You got big noon kickoff, same weekend as homecoming. Just what does that attention to kind of confluence of things mean for your program?
Well, I think it's another great opportunity for us to show the progress of our program, to show what this group is all about, where we're heading. Again, same thing. If they weren't coming, that's great on a national stage for the college football world to see the Kansas Jayhawks. And at the same time, I think it's a great opportunity for our alumni and fans that are coming back to Lawrence, or some that maybe haven't been back in a while, or ones that are coming back for that annual trip to see the progress of our program. So a lot of wins there, a lot of great opportunities for our program, our athletic department, university, and community.
And then just as he continues to recover from injury, how is Jalen Daniels progressing?
Still progressing. Again, I remain very encouraged, and again, kind of leave it there. I think it's still in the doubtful area, but doubtful, questionable, and those things. But again, I remain very optimistic.
Has Jalen been able to do more?
Yes.
Last year you guys had College Game Day. These big pregame shows, just how do you feel like they help on the recruiting front? How did you notice last year how that changed things?
Yeah, and it's hard to, when you use it, you send things, or you're talking to them. Young men know, and they know what that means when these places pick your campus to have the opportunity, or your game is spotlighted in that capacity. Again, go back to where we were 2.5 years ago, or wherever, to where we are now sometimes we don't have a lot of time to reflect like that, but it's mind-blowing to where we're at for these things to happen, and it's exciting, and I think it hopefully is going to continue to pay dividends for us, and then take another step on the field.
And we talked about the recruiting side of things for you guys last week during the bye week, getting to go out. How do you determine what's a priority during that short period?
Again, it's a balance. You're trying to get out to be seen. We wanted to get to as many places as we could. There's some that, based on certain schedules and other things happening, that we could get to some Thursday night games like I did, and then guys were in places on Friday, and guys were seeing games on Saturday as well. Trying to balance the prep and everything that we're doing. But Rob Iannello, Grant Murray, and the rest of our recruiting staff put together a plan that utilizes our time efficiently, and I feel we were able to do that, and so hopefully we can get out. When we were down in Oklahoma City, we got a couple guys out to the game, and we'll continue to try to do that when it presents itself.
Yeah, and for you guys doing the prep for Oklahoma, I guess during a bye week, how much of it is self-scouting and how much of it is looking ahead to the next opponent?
Yes, it's kind of like that. We're doing some. I would say probably not as much of the younger players as maybe we've done in the past, which is unfortunate based on we tapered down some things, and like I said, gave some guys. I mean, we did rotate, but we didn't maybe do as many as our first 2 years of pure, scout team. I don't like calling them scout bowls or something like that. I've never done that. But we did some. We did do scout team periods, and then we did, just regular offense versus defense looks for speed and reactions and things like that. So it was a mixture.
What are your initial thoughts on Oklahoma?
Very good football team. Last year game, it was, they played fast and accurate and really had us on our heels most of the day. We battled and made the score respectable, but they were in control probably from the start. You see a lot of those things again, that up-tempo pace that they want to just keep you kind of playing base defenses and trying to exploit you. And they do an excellent job. Jeff Levy's an excellent offensive coordinator. He's one of the best in the country at running this system, and they got a quarterback that does an excellent job of running that. He's very accurate. He can extend plays. He can run and create things with his legs. They got weapons all over the place. So that's the challenge. And I think where they've taken the next big step is defensively, the improvement. They used the portal very well and created a lot of depth all across the board. And again, extremely impressed with their defensive team speed as well.
Yeah. Have you noticed anything year 2 with that coaching staff comparatively to year 1?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, I don't want to speak for Coach Venables. I'm not him, I'm not there, but I think for any of us, especially for someone that I can reflect at my own experiences of, you can spend your whole life preparing to be a head coach, but until you get to actually sit in the chair and go through those things, it's different. And then you get more comfortable in that role, and some things come to light. And again, especially taking over a program that's been highly successful, you don't change things just to change them, but at the same time, after a year on the job, you put your own fingerprint on it, and I think he has done that by really how you've seen the defense really kind of change itself, and confidence that they're playing in. I believe he's calling the defense now and heavily involved, and so I would say that as far as year 2, and players that have been there probably more comfortable with them. So I think probably the same way when we got here is year 2, you've got the routine down, you know what you kind of want to change, and you continue to make your small adjustments as you go.
Lance,
Yep.
what do you make of Trevor Wilson and how hot he's been lately, especially with as loaded as you guys are?
Yeah, it's been exciting to see Trevor kind of come into his own. I can say that we as a staff that has been with Trevor for the long haul has always seen this ability there for him to kind of make this happen, to create these type of plays, and to see it come together. And there's been different reasons for Trevor to whether it be injuries, and there's where we are at Buffalo or learning, and last year he just had a really tough season on and off the field, and now to see him kind of weather that is refreshing, and you pull for that, because there's been multiple times, whether it be personally for him, in family and things that happened to him even when he first got to Buffalo that made it really tough, where a lot of guys don't persevere and get through it, and he has, and that's been exciting. And to see us being able to utilize his speed and athleticism is something that we need and will need to continue to do.
Do you use a guy like that as an example to show other players?
Yeah, at times, we do. I mean, we use Caleb Taylor and Keenan Caldwell at times too, because those guys played a lot of football 2 years ago, didn't play very much last year, and have stayed the course, and we're rotating guys. So any of those guys that kind of, they're maybe in the second half of their career, and it always hasn't gone when you talk to the team in a team setting about just stay the course, and we're not exactly sure when it's going to pay you back, but if you stay, it can happen and will happen. Good question.
Oklahoma does the up-tempo offense. I think UCF has won, Oklahoma State has done it too. As the season goes on, as time goes on, do the guys get more comfortable going against that? And how do you have to change things when you go up against a team that wants to kind of push the pace like that?
Yeah, I think they get used to it, no doubt. As a staff, there's a lot of different ways through the years you learn to practice that, because when you don't do that, you're trying to replicate it, and then using scout team players and that aren't used to that, and it's hard enough sometimes to run the scout team for various reasons. So we try to find different ways. I think our guys do. I think last year, as we remind them, you watch things. We're watching everything from average ball snap between plays to all those things to create that sense of urgency. But yet we got to continue to play hard, and then get lined up, and then get the next call. So yeah, it's a process, and playing UCF just a few weeks ago, and now I think will help us in some regards.
And I guess looking at the final 5 games of the season, what is it going to take for you guys to finish fast?
Well, again, I'm in a week-to-week mode. Okay, you're probably looking at it differently, but again, I think I know where the reason is from last year's maybe to this year. And again, if you remember at the beginning of the year, or maybe even last spring, I think I sat in this room and said, we can be a better football team, and probably will be a better football team than we were last year, but I can't promise it's going to show up in the record. Okay, and that can hold true when you look at it across the board in this conference. It's how you're going to match up. So it's going to come down to A, staying healthy. B, we got to be able to execute and stay physical, and be able to create our balance and offensive explosiveness. We've got to be able to prevent big plays and tackle well on defense, and find a way to win something in special teams. And that's going to continue on. There's not a magic, hey, if we just do this, we're going to be set. We've got to continue to do what we do and keep pushing our players to be better today than they were yesterday. I know it's kind of boring, but that's really where it gets to. And I think, again, where we're at health-wise in some things is pretty good right now, and we've got to be able to stay that course and bounce back. I mean, it's tough to, we haven't played now. It'll be 2 weeks, so if you look at OU and Texas didn't play the week before, okay? I don't know if that had to do with anything, the scores of their game. I don't want to take away from those two opponents that played them to the wire, but we got to come off this break. You can be refreshed, but you better be able to come out of the gates well and play well off of it. So those are all going to be the things that we'll talk about as we go down these final 5.
Did you gain any clarity on either of the penalties that were, I guess one of them wasn't called, one was called in the fourth quarter?
Clarity, not completely. I'd say no to clarity, other than they supported the calls made. That's about all I can tell you. Okay.
Anything else, Coach?
I will give you one or two other injury updates. That Logan Brown had surgery last week, and Logan will be out for the rest of the season. Okay, so you won't see his name there. And hopefully we can look at filing hardship for that as well, and get his year back. I don't know if did I give you Andrew Russell a couple weeks ago? Andrew Russell had surgery as well. So he, so Ron McGee and Andrew and Logan are the ones that are definitely out for the season. Okay.
Anything else with Hayden?
Hayden was back at practice yesterday, doing some. That'll still be up in the air as of now. Demarius McGee's been out for a while, and he's still out. Hopefully we get closer on that. So trying to think if there's anybody else that's definitely in those categories. That's the best I can give you at the moment. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Appreciate it.